let's talk about frizz. Let me share with you the mistakes that I've made along the way and what I now do to combat that. Some of the causes of frizz are in your control, but some aren't. So let's start with hair type. The curl and diameter of the actual hair strands can affect the amount of frizz that you have. A thicker hair strand diameter and like more of a curly to coily pattern, you may then experience more frizz. If you saw my video on the different hair types, I covered porosity and the cuticle structure. And just naturally, you may experience more porosity, but what you do to it can really increase that. The outer protective layer is the cuticle, and this is basically like shingles on a roof. And so the tighter and more sealed it is, the less porous your hair will be. But as our hair may become more damaged due to lots of different reasons, the shingles will actually start to lift. And what that ends up causing is moisture loss. And then you might notice your hair becoming drier, frizzier, and more unmanageable. So these things are things that we are again exposing our hair to, and some of them may be something that we do have a little bit of control over and some we don't. High pH levels, and this could be in our water that we use to wash our hair, as well as hair products. Humidity, that could be in the climate that we live in, or it could also be the humidity that we experience in our daily showers. Chemical hair processes that we could include bleaching, coloring, perms, straightening, anything that will actually permanently change the structure of your hair. Heat exposure, that could be your styling tools, your blow dryer, and even the sun. And then finally, overexposure to water, cleansing detergents, as well as mechanical friction, which is what we do every time we wash and style our hair. Water pH levels that come, that are in our water, there's really not much you can do about that. The pH levels change depending on where you live in our country. And you could possibly maybe use a filter. You can maybe use distilled water to wash your hair, but that sounds like a real pain. So one suggestion is just trying to avoid exposing your hair to that as much as possible. And as for products, you could start looking for products that are formulated at a lower pH. And this also is not that easy to do, because a lot of your products, they don't say what the pH level is. And you can try looking on their sites, in their questions and answers and that sort of thing. But a lot of times they're not that forthcoming with that information. Some of the shampoo and conditioner sets that I have found and I do recommend are Amika the Cure, K18, and Pureology. I think these are all really, really good products. The next thing is humidity. Now, you can't control your climate unless you want to move to a drier climate. The only thing you can really do is try to manage your hair the best you can. I do live in a drier climate, so when I am exposed to humidity, it's not that often, and for me, the best thing for me to do is just try to put it up and keep it out of the way, because my hair really does turn unrecognizable. And this has taught me to really learn to be able to laugh at myself. So since I don't have that much exposure to that humidity, I really haven't tried some of the products. Now, there are some out there, like I think it's called Wow or Color Wow, that is supposed to help with frizziness. So I personally can't recommend it because I haven't tried it, but if any of you have tried this product or a similar product that you really like, please share that with us in the comments below. One thing that I have overlooked is the humidity in my shower. I started wrapping my hair in a microfiber towel just to protect it from that humidity. Another couple things that I do is I don't take super hot showers. I know they feel amazing, but really hot water isn't that great for it. It dries out my skin, and then again it just creates a lot of humidity, and that's not great for your hair. So I do that, as well as I leave the door open so my bathroom doesn't really get super humid. But protecting your hair with a towel will really help with that exposure. Obviously, the best thing to do is avoid these processes altogether, or at least try to minimize how often you get these processes done. But there are technologies out there now that do help protect the cuticle. Some hairdressers use products like Olaplex 1 and 2 while they're actually doing the process, and that can really help limit the amount of damage. Again, avoid or minimize heat exposure. This is going to be a running theme when dealing with frizz and damage in general. But there are, again, products that they offer now that really do help to protect against heat. One thing to keep in mind is how much heat. So a curling and flat iron are way hotter tools than, say, your blow dryer is. So you really want to find a heat protector that can offer protection up to those higher temperatures. You also need to use a heat protector every time you use that tool. And I really have been loving the Tresemme Heat Tamer Spray. It's very light, and I would say I curl my hair 3, max 4 times a week, and I can use the protector every time I use my curling iron, and it never builds up on my hair. So I've really enjoyed this product. I do blow dry my hair every time I wash it, and really try to smooth out the frizz. It really is important to know how to smooth out your frizz, and so I use a thing like this on my blow dryer, and then I use this to then smooth it out. So one thing to do is making sure that you've got a little bit of tension on it. Not a lot, but enough to where and then you're blowing the hair like this way. So it's kind of going and smoothing down and laying down those shingles, and you just roll it and smooth it all the way out, and that's where you can get a very smooth finish. When your hair is wet, the bonds are separate, and then as the hair dries, they start locking together, and that's how your hair gets its shape. So you really do want to take advantage of when your hair is wet, and it doesn't have to be sopping wet, but when it's starting to, you want to dry it and smooth it into the shape that you want your hair to have. I think this, using a blow dryer and drying your hair, is a much easier way of tackling frizz, rather than, say, letting your hair air dry and then trying to straighten it out or smooth it out with, say, a curling iron or a flat iron. If you could extend, even by a day, the days between your washes, that would help limit the exposure to the water, the detergents in the shampoo, and mechanical friction from, the shampooing, the towel drying, then turning around and styling your hair. But how often you wash your hair is so individual. Everybody has different hair and scalp needs. So if you could wash your hair less, great. But if you can't, what you then have to do is be very careful when you are putting it through all of this process. So yes, we do need to keep our scalps and our hair clean, and you need water and detergents to do that. But this process, what it actually does is it makes the individual hair strands swell. And as we know, when our hair is wet, it's weaker. So if you took a strand of wet hair and pulled it, it would stretch out quite a bit versus trying that with a dry strand of hair, because the hair is already set, it's locked, so it would be harder to pull it apart. But when you're taking a wet strand of hair and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, what you're doing is you're breaking those bonds. And so that's what's happening if, say, you're really rough with shampooing your hair, towel drying your hair, or raking a comb through it. So you've got to be really, really careful, because you could be stretching out and breaking those bonds, and it will lead to you breaking your hair strands. And there are a lot of different products that can help add moisture and protection to your hair. Conditioners, leave-in conditioners, masks, blow dryer creams, hair oils, bond repairing treatments, and even your the oil that you produce from your scalp. All of these things will help control your frizz. It is best to know what type of hair that you have, so that you can match, the products to suit it. And it's also important to keep an eye on other ways your hair might be experiencing friction. I think that's why we're hearing a lot more about like microfiber towels or t-shirt towels when you're drying your hair, or silk pillowcases when you're sleeping. That all is going to help reduce friction. One mistake that I realized I was making was that when I was applying, like say my conditioner, I wasn't applying it throughout all of my hair. So I would wash my hair, and then I'd get my conditioner, go like this, and then just rub it basically all on the outside of my hair like this, but it wasn't getting in and amongst everything. So what I started doing was splitting it, sectioning it down here, and then actually running my conditioner all throughout my hair like this. And that has really helped. Another thing is when I would say spray my leave-in conditioner, I was maybe focusing just here. Now I kind of go in and do separate and make sure and get it on not only this side, but also underneath and up in here. And I really have noticed that that's helped a lot. So please check out this next video where I shared how I leveled up my hair care routine. I also will have all of the products that I have recommended in this video in the description box below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you know somebody who is experiencing frizz, please share this video with them. Please give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying this content, and I hope you have a great day.